In February 1957, a boy's lifeless body was found in a cardboard box in a wooded area of Philadelphia. He was estimated to be between 3 and 7 years old, his small frame malnourished and bruised. He had been beaten and left naked in the box, wrapped in a thin blanket. His hair had been crudely cut, possibly after death, and his identity remains unknown to this day. The box he was found in once contained a bassinet, leading investigators to believe he might have been abandoned by someone who purchased it. The boy's body showed signs of long-term abuse, with scars and bruises on his frail body. Despite exhaustive efforts, including distributing over 400,000 flyers of his image, no one came forward to identify him. Theories abound, ranging from a child sold by desperate parents to a victim of an illegal orphanage or a family hiding a shameful secret. Each lead only deepened the mystery. Decades later, forensic advances have brought new hope. But the boy's name, his story, and the reason for his tragic fate remain locked in silence. The Boy in the Box is a haunting reminder of how some victims are not just forgotten, they are never even known. On Christmas Eve, 1945, the Sodder family's home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, went up in flames. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 4 of their children, escaped. But 5 children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were believed to have perished in the fire, yet no remains were ever found. After the fire was extinguished, authorities concluded it had been caused by faulty wiring. But the Sodders noticed strange inconsistencies. The phone lines had been cut. The ladder, usually propped against the house, was missing and later found in a ditch. George's trucks, which he intended to use to save his children, wouldn't start. Even stranger, a witness reported seeing the missing children alive in a car during the fire. Years later, Jenny received a photograph in the mail of a young man resembling her missing son, Louis, with a cryptic note on the back. The Sodders became convinced their children had been kidnapped, possibly due to George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini and tensions in the local Italian immigrant community. The case was never solved, leaving a haunting question. Did the Sodder children die in the fire, or were they taken? The family's efforts to uncover the truth persisted until their deaths, leaving the mystery alive. On May 3, 2007, 3-year-old Madeleine McCann was abducted from her family's vacation apartment in Praia da Luz, a resort town in Portugal. Her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, along with their friends, were dining at a nearby restaurant when they left Madeleine and her twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, asleep in the apartment. Every 30 minutes, the parents checked on the children, but when Kate returned around 10 total p.m., Madeleine was gone. The apartment door was unlocked, and the window had been tampered with, leading police to believe it could be an abduction. The couple immediately alerted the authorities, sparking one of the largest manhunts in European history. Despite an extensive search and the involvement of local Portuguese and British police, Madeleine was never found. Early investigations focused on a number of theories, including the possibility of a local abduction or a trafficking ring. A major twist came in the form of a suspect, Robert Murat, a British-Portuguese man who lived nearby, but he was cleared after extensive questioning. In 2007, the Portuguese police declared the case closed, but it was reopened by the British police in 2011. Following new leads. In 2013, the McCanns hired private investigators, and further information emerged pointing to a series of potentially related disappearances of young children across Europe. In 2014, a German man named Christian B. was publicly linked to the case, though he denied involvement. The case was reopened again in 2020, with investigators speculating that Madeleine may have been abducted by a sex trafficking ring or murdered. The lack of solid evidence, coupled with various conflicting theories and the public's fascination, has made this case a subject of media frenzy. documentaries, and ongoing invest. In July 1960, the charred remains of a young girl aged between 3 and 6 were discovered in a remote desert near Congress, Arizona. Clad in a checkered blouse and sandals too large for her small frame, she had been buried hastily in a shallow grave. Authorities could not identify her, so she was tragically nicknamed Little Miss Nobody. The case immediately baffled investigators. The girl's cause of death was unclear due to the state of her remains, but foul play was strongly suspected. Despite nationwide efforts to uncover her identity, including publicizing her description and a reconstruction of her face, no family or guardian ever came forward. Little Miss Nobody was laid to rest in a local cemetery, her headstone bearing the heartbreaking inscription, "Little Miss Nobody, blessed are the pure in heart." For years, her grave became a symbol of hope and sorrow as the town continued to wonder who she was and why no one claimed her. Decades passed with few leads, but advances in forensic technology rekindled hope. In 2022, her remains were exhumed, and with the help of modern DNA testing, she was finally identified as Sharon Lee Gallegos, a 4-year-old girl abducted from Alamogordo, New Mexico in 1960. Sharon's tragic story revealed she had been taken by strangers, but the exact details of her murder remain a mystery. Little Miss Nobody's case underscores the power of modern science and the enduring pursuit of justice, even decades after a crime.